Hey guys, so it's us again.
Hi.
I'm still your host here at What the Fuck Are We Doing with the lovely Kareen, and yeah, as you've heard her already.
Admitted y'all missed us. Just saying.
Yeah, we did promise you a weekend episode, and well, here it is. It's fucking, like 7:30 Sunday evening. Oh shit, no, it's 8:15. But you know what, it's still a weekend, so I reckon it counts. So, tonight we're doing something a little different. So instead of, firstly, instead of coming at you from the dining room table, you can hear we don't sound like we're in a bathroom. So we're doing this on our porch, at the porch table, and also we have our first guest tonight. So
Yay us.
moving up in the world.
Look at us doing the things.
So we're going to basically do a bit of a recap on some of our previous stuff. So we're going to be talking about borderline personality disorder. So
And self-love.
yeah. So we've got someone who who actually has, I'm going to probably say the abbreviation wrong, BPD.
It's correct.
Yeah, correct.
Look at
Jeez,
you
can
doing the
imagine?
things.
So we've got someone who actually suffers from that, and we just want to get some first-hand info regarding how she lives with it, how it affects her relationships, with everyone around her, etc., etc., and even with herself. So we're not going to mention her name. She's asked to remain anonymous.
Oh, Marcel, why don't you just say her name's Elizabeth?
No, because I wanted to call her Susan, but you don't
No,
want me
we
to
can't
do that.
because then I can't do my joke. Because this is an English podcast, not Afrikaans one.
It's okay, but you can still go May Folk Susan, that's fine. Google
Okay.
Translate is a thing, guys.
So first of all, Elizabeth, thank you for joining us and giving us the opportunity to do this with you. How are you?
Thanks for having me here. I'm good, and you guys?
Good. You relaxed? Calm?
Are you okay?
Enjoying
Yeah.
the coffee?
Yeah,
Drink
Kareen's got
the
a
coffee.
fucking
I've
buckets
got my red
coffee.
mug. It's a mug. It's not a bucket.
It's a bucket. It's close enough.
Well, this is the first time for me, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit
nervous.
nervousness, but nothing more than the norm.
No, I think one thing that's quite nice is that this is not happening, in front of an audience. This is just us sitting at a table. I don't know. I think maybe that sounds fucking, quite assertive or rude. I don't know. But maybe try and have the mentality as though we're all sitting here just talking crap with one another.
Ignore the recorder.
Yeah.
And in English.
And
Yeah, and in English.
Sorry about that. We're not at the stage where we can do subtitles yet. We're not there yet.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, my mind still works in Afrikaans at times, so if I stutter, it's only because I'm trying to translate in my head.
Not a problem. No
That's fine.
stress. Like I said, relax. This is an informal environment. We're not here to interrogate you.
Where were you on the night of the 14th?
And it's funny because I know this environment.
You're quite familiar with it.
I'm quite familiar with it.
So, I don't know, Kareen, she's like, dude, can I start with the questions? I'm like, yeah, bro, do what you want to do. So, we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
Can I just say something though?
Of course.
It is bipolar depression with borderline personality disorder that I have. Just
Okay.
gonna make that correction.
Okay, that was my first question. What were the diagnoses that were made?
The diagnosis was made, and it was now recently made on Thursday. The past Thursday has been gone. It actually came. I've known for a long time that I've had bipolar depression, bipolar mood disorder with it's the bipolar type 2. And I've known that for about just shy of 10 years now. And me and my psychiatrist was actually talking about my meds, and she said, no, I'm on meds for BPD. And so I was joking, I was like, oh, that's funny, me being on meds for BPD. She's like, yes, but you do know you have bipolar with BPD. I'm like, no, did not know that. Makes sense
New
though.
every day.
Sorry?
You learn something new every day, though.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys. Everyone knows I'm fucking inappropriate, and I make jokes, at the worst time. So if I say something that offends you, I do apologize sincerely. I'm not trying to. It just happens.
Wow.
I'll take the warning.
Yeah, this is what I deal with when we try to be serious. Just saying.
It's either that or like there's a moth flying and I'm doing something and it looks like, I don't know, like fucking...
Halfway karate move.
No, not even. Like water polo gone wrong. But like, you know...
How does water polo look in the air when you're trying to catch a moth?
I have no idea. I don't even want to picture it.
But Green always smiles. Like you can hear the smile.
Anyway, back to
what we were talking about.
Yes.
Sorry.
So when you got diagnosed, how did it make you feel? Even though you had it in your subconscious that, you know, this is what's wrong with me. I've got a feeling this is what's wrong with me. How did it make you feel when it was actually put to you on black and white, basically?
I think when you're living with it, it's one thing because you kind of get used to it. So that was my whole life. That's been my form of norm. And even though my life long, I've known I don't handle things the way other people do, and it's been getting to me a lot, and a lot recently as well. But knowing it and putting a label on it, more than knowing it, is just it's a lot. It's refreshing in a way, because it's just where you can label something, you can fix it. But the initial feeling was just shock, and because I do know a little about BPD before I've read up after that whole doctor's appointment. I've read up on it a while ago, and so I knew a little about it, and I knew the instability about it, and I knew the hardness of it, and how difficult it is to diagnose in the first place, and in the second place to live with. And suddenly realizing I have something that is really actually difficult to live with. It's a bit of a downer, but I guess we all have something difficult to live with.
Very true, and I mean, like, I think also, as you mentioned, kind of giving your, you know, behavior, if I may put it like that, you know, giving it a name and going, okay, well, this is what it is. Did you, I don't know, I think a lot of people that get diagnosed with a mental illness, they treat it like a death sentence. Did you feel like that in any way at all?
I think this diagnosis, because it's, okay, let me put it this way. Back when I was diagnosed with bipolar, or even before that, when I was diagnosed with the depression, by the time I was diagnosed with the depression, I didn't know what it was, I didn't know what it entails, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew, I was I think 16 at that age. I just knew I was gonna have to be on meds for a certain amount of time. So at that stage it was not a definite infinite thing. So it was okay, meds for a little while, it's fine.
Yeah.
After that it got to me. After realizing what it was, after reading up on it, after getting information, then it started getting to me, and then I started seeing it as a death sentence. And being diagnosed with bipolar was even worse, because there's no cure for it. There's no one day magically.
Sorry, I'm going to just interrupt you for a second. You were talking about bipolar beforehand. Did you mean borderline personality disorder?
No, bipolar.
Or still bipolar? Okay, no, sorry, I just want to...
And then,
yes.
Then the bipolar.
Apologies.
So with the bipolar, it was just it took me a long time to get used to it. You get used to the fact of knowing what I'm in for, and also making what it means, making peace with it, making peace with this is how my life is going to be from here on forward. And during the past 10 years, there's been lots of times, especially in the early stages, I've been on my meds for a year about, and then...
Sorry guys, my doggos. Just bear with us for a moment, please.
Okay, so I've been saying basically from the early stages, there's been times in those years that I've been on meds, and then I was like, okay, but I don't need meds, so I can get off my meds. And I went off my meds, and it was for a month, it was fine, 2 months, it was fine, 3 months, started unraveling, 4 months got worse, 6 months got even worse, 7 months, I was near about suicide, and almost got institutionalized, and then decided, okay, maybe I need meds. Got back on the meds again. That repeated for about 3, 4, 5 years. Being on meds, off meds constantly. Up until a point where I realized this is just how my life is going to be. I'm going to be on meds, and either I do this right, and I go through the whole process of being on meds, and I find the right meds that work for me, and I stay on them, rather than every time coming to a point where no, this doesn't exist. And so yes, it was like a death sentence. But this time, because I've been through that, I know now if you accept it, you can move forward from there. Where I think anything, like a lot of things in life, you have a grieving process. Even though you don't grieve something, you go through the denial, you go through the bargaining, you go through the anger, you go through the sadness or depression, however you want to call it, and then you get to the acceptance. And I think with this time around, being BPD and knowing now that as well, I don't think that's the process. It went very quickly. It went through in an hour, and just got to the acceptance part.
If I may, I'm like, you mentioned that you were on and off medication for a good couple of years. How did that affect your relationships with friends, family, your parents, even with yourself? How did it affect you and your relationships when you were on and off meds? Did you, well, obviously, I'm sure you noticed a difference, but like how severe, or not severe, but like how different was that difference?
Very significantly. The best example I can use to clarify that is with my first relationship. And it was I met her in 2013, and at that stage I was on a med that was very not unstable kind of with me and myself. I'm not going to name any meds specifically because your psychiatrist have to tell you which meds you're supposed to be on. So don't take my advice for what works for me, meaning that would work for someone else. So it was just very unstable at that point, and it affected the relationship it made the relationship very unstable. And me going off then afterwards, I thought having someone in my life to carry me and to be able to lean on would be enough for me to go off my meds. And thinking back now in hindsight, I think that's the worst decision anyone can make. You can't lean on someone, you can't expect someone else to carry you when you are yourself unstable. I thought that person made me happy enough so I can be happy all the time, and at the end of the day, slowly but surely, it disintegrated my relationship. That relationship came to an end because of how I faced that and saw that, and so yes, it ended relationships. It ended relationships badly for me. It made friendships and relationships with my family difficult. My father is not someone who actually. My father is someone who compartmentalizes really, really good. So where I overthink something on emotional level, he thinks logically. And because my mom is the way she is, my dad always knew more how to handle me, but he could never understand my depression in the way that my mom per se could. Me and my dad came to a middle ground where I know he doesn't understand and can't even see how or feel how I'm feeling. He has sympathy towards it. And I understand that he can never understand that, but his sympathy and his support from outside means a lot to me. But we had a lot of fights because of my emotions. We had a lot of fights with me being on or off meds, me being irrational and just treating him irrationally and being just
Loose cannon.
yes,
basically.
exactly. So the friends I do have now and the people that I have in my life, I'm very, very grateful for. They've stuck through me through very bad times. They've been there with me through very unstable times, and yet they've never judged me. They've never held it against me. They've never held my disease against me. And disease, disorder, however you want to call it, they've never held that against me, and for that I'm grateful.
And like, I know you mentioned that relationships, different kinds of relationships, when you were younger, it was difficult for you. Because I think also maybe to an extent you didn't fully understand exactly what was happening.
I think completely.
In your head and so on. But if you had to compare what you went through, let's say 6-7 years ago, to how you are today with the people around you, but more so to yourself, not as much to the people around you. Like, how was your relationship with yourself? In terms of that though.
About 6-7 years ago, I completely hated myself. I loathed myself in every way possible. And I didn't treat myself good, and I didn't want to treat myself good because I didn't think I deserved it. I was living because I thought I was supposed to be living. I was forced to be living. And whereas now I can see how to live a better life, how to be happy while living, even with the disorder, how to be happy within myself, how to accept myself, and also knowing there are ways to treat it, whether it is through therapy or whatever else way there is. And as for the self-loving part as well, it's you guys did a podcast on that, on how to love yourself, and it resonated a lot. And the advice you gave, it's those types of things that helps a lot. Just saying in the morning the things why you love yourself, and as Corinne said, you shouldn't say every morning the same thing. I think because otherwise it just gets stuck in your head and it's just more words. Where every morning you find something different, you actually start to realize eventually that, hey, I'm not that bad. And I've come to a point in my life where I can actually feel that, hey, I'm not that bad. I can actually live with myself and not be that bad.
I know that you actually said to us, there was something particular, I don't quite remember or quite recall what exactly Corinne said on that self-love podcast, but we were kind of laughing about it earlier, and you said that it felt like it was aimed at you. And
Okay, wait, just a disclaimer. If you guys listened to that, I didn't aim it at anyone.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, if you feel that I did, then I'm sorry, but then there's something you need to change in yourself. And that is exactly what I told her as well.
Earlier. So it's this is not a shocking surprise or whatever. It's like, listen, bitch, listen carefully. This was mentioned earlier.
You there in the corner with the sensitive feelings. You want some tissues or something? Love your hair, hate your face.
Yeah.
No, on that there was this, I think Corinne said something like, yes, if you're feeling down and you're feeling depressed, don't just sit in the corner and feel bad about yourself. Get the fuck up and do something about it.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the car while I was driving, I was listening to it, I was sitting in the car.
I love it when people do that. They listen to us everywhere. I'm like, yes, winning at life, goals achieved.
That's like fucking uncalled for. Not uncalled for. That's like advertising without us lifting your fingers. So yay, yay
Thank
vehicles.
you.
So I was listening to it in the car, and I was thinking like, what? It felt like she said that to me, and I was talking to her, and I told her, it's not like you said, Elizabeth, listen, Elizabeth, you in the corner, I know you go sit in the corner and you do this and this and this, and it's not like you said that, and I know that, but for some reason my mind completely went there, and I was offended, and I was like, that's not fair. Just because I'm like this doesn't mean it's my fault. And I went into this frenzy in my mind, and without even realizing it, afterwards, when I listened to the end, it all got into perspective for me. And I was like, no, but you know what? At the end of the day, I took offense because I felt guilty. I felt guilty because I do see myself sometimes as playing the victim, and I hate it. I hate it to the max. And I don't want to see myself that way. I don't want to see myself as someone who self-pities or who plays the victim card and feels sorry for myself because I'm having a bad day and I don't know how. Oh, I don't know why. And, but yes, it's not like you said it at me and it's something I need to fix. It's not your fault.
And one of those
and
moments...
just points it out.
Because, I mean, we all have bad days.
Oh yeah, pretty shitty days.
But there's a quote that I try to keep reminding myself of, and nowadays it's not that easy, but we try. It's just a bad day, not a bad life.
Yeah,
very true.
So just because you have a bad day or a shitty day, it doesn't mean your life sucks. And it's not, if someone else comes and screws up your day, I mean, just don't let them, like, fuck them. Like, honestly, I can't even with people in moods anymore, I can't. But that's just, I don't know, like I've told you guys already, and everyone that knows me knows this, but I'm a big advocate for self-love.
And I love that about
it's a thing that hits close to home because of how I grew up. So if I see someone and they're like, yeah, I'm like, look at this little flab here on my love handle. I'm like, sweetie, name it. Name it Fricky, name it whatever you want. Layla, go for it. Name it and love it. Because the moment you name something, you've got an attachment to it. And then obviously you need to love it. It's like a dog. You can't just have a dog and not name it. Because the moment you name a dog, you love that dog.
That's very true.
It's the truth. And I mean, all my love handles, I mean, you guys know I've got a few. They all got names. But I'm not going to tell you because every night in the shower I'm like, I still love you. You're still here. That's how I roll. But it's
Brilliant's name.
look at you shining.
I don't know, you see, like now I feel this whole segment about like, having love handles and naming them, I feel like that's kind of directed at me because,
No. Sorry, you can't win me. You can't beat
I've
this.
got
Neither me.
So obviously I've got shit to fix. Because I actually recall Karina and I had a very similar, if not the same fucking conversation one night.
It was also on a podcast, and I also said,
Was it?
Yes.
I feel like this happened a couple of months ago.
No, it was with self-love episode.
Dude, I don't know what I did
because
yesterday.
I
Calm
like
down.
to advertise my love handles. I'm sorry, I love them so much. Like, everyone just needs to love them as much as I do. Then the problems will not exist in my life.
All girls should just love their love handles.
Apparently,
like,
so.
sweetie, stretch marks are just a roadmap
stripes.
of where you've been.
It's tiger stripes.
Exactly, it's tiger stripes, or it's roadmaps of where you've been, how far you've come in life. Cellulite is just your body of telling you know what, girl? It's been a rough patch, but we're still here. So we're good, because I mean, your legs are your way of mobility. So obviously, take some strain. So love it. Love every imperfection of yourself. Because if we all were perfect, I mean, Jesus, that would have sucked. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. That would have sucked so bad.
Like, I'm sorry, I
excuse
yawned,
you.
I thought you drank coffee.
No, I did, but that doesn't do shit. I should go get a bed now and sleep until like 10 tomorrow. Calm down.
You should get a jug like Corinne.
No, I should. That's a fucking
Like,
bucket.
this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
I need a bucket of coffee.
I'm content with the little things in life, don't judge.
Don't. There's nothing little about that fucking cup. Like nothing. Stop lying to yourself.
That's like the comment you made earlier
with
today.
my hands, it's small, okay, because I've got big hands, but big hands.
No. Dude, you can't get both hands around that thing.
I
and
can
touch
look
your
at it.
fingers.
It's
No
touching.
rubbish.
It's touching.
Move it back.
My boobs wants to be part of this. Okay,
Okay,
so
guys,
it's
this-
all complete now.
This whole little, this little squabble has got absolutely nothing to do with anything that has been
I
said
know,
so far.
but we always go off track.
Yeah, no, dude, we're not even on the same type of fucking gravel right now.
No, we're not, and I'm sorry for that, guys. But that is
We
what
started
we do.
on a tarmac road and we ended up in the fucking rainforest. Like,
Okay,
At
but
least we're in
to
some forest.
yes, at least some lovely
we've got
trees.
some sort of direction, even though it's fucked.
So to get back to the topic, there was actually something. Okay, so now that you're on the right medication and you're getting the right help, like psychologists and that type of route, excuse me, how does it affect you now in like a love relationship? Not with friends or family, like your
Significant other,
yes.
or whatever you want to call them.
I think the partner that I have is very considerate and very supportive towards me in this whole process.
Look at you winning at life.
I know, right?
Sorry.
No, she's actually really amazing. And she's been very trying to understand what I've been going through and trying to see where I'm coming from. And I don't think she always knows exactly what's going on she doesn't, I think, even know what's going on in my mind. But I don't think she knows how to deal with someone specifically with bipolar and BPD. And I don't think she has a lot of contact with that in her life, say with the depression side, being with someone that has it. But very few people ever have had that experience. And it's something I knew that I need to get used to as well. Someone who's actually trying to be there for me, trying to understand, and trying to understand without needing to have all the little details and all the information, all this and all that, and just from a person to a person point of view, where she doesn't always have to explain back to me what she understands. I don't think she's ever felt that she has to explain to me what she understands or what she doesn't. She just understands. And it has caused ups and downs. It's still a very fresh relationship. There has been some clinginess from my side, and neediness and sensitivity. And sensitivity, once again, like when she says something and I immediately direct it towards myself, and it's not her fault, it's something I need to fix. And but despite all that, she's still here though, and she's one of the best support systems I've ever had, and for that I'm really, really grateful.
That's good. That's good. Well, we hope she's listening to this. Because damn, don't you just want to throw in like, will you marry me, babe, there in there or whatever? Like, wow. I hope if she's listening to this, she can do like the same thing back at you. Maybe we'll get her in here for a little podcast session or something.
Maybe one day.
We'll give her
I
a
think,
little
yeah,
interrogation.
yeah.
What do you want to, can we call her Susan?
Yes, I'll call her Susanna. Anyway,
You said it's a fresh relationship, so if you think you mention marriage, she's gonna fucking, I don't know, you think she's gonna run away?
I was only joking. Let's not list the things of
Well,
a
I have
relationship.
mentioned it to her, so and she does want to run away because of
Can
that.
we
so.
not do this right now? Like, I am single as fuck, so I do not want to
Yeah, but
discuss
dude,
this.
you had a dream about me. When did I get married? Apparently, in your dream, was it the night before?
I think it was Friday night.
Yeah, apparently I got married in a dream.
Yes,
To
but that
a
has nothing to do with
stepdaughter.
my situation.
Yeah,
it
no.
doesn't. Let me-
Can we not
We
like
got onto
discuss-
marriage.
We're getting
Anyway,
off topic. Like
again.
every 5 seconds, people. Can we
Concentrate. I'll keep quiet.
So obviously you are a listener and a follower and a subscriber. Thank you so much for that. How did any of our podcasts hit home or make you think, okay, we obviously know self-love did something for you?
A lot. I haven't listened to them all yet. I'm still getting to that. I'm savoring them,
Well, thank you for being honest.
I'm savoring them because you do like only once a week.
No, we
every
do
now and again.
Yeah, we're doing 3 a week now. We're getting in routine.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
So you can go and catch up.
Yes, I can do that. That's
So
good.
binge
So,
listening.
because the one with the bipolar, I still wanted to listen to. I
Okay.
was very interested in that one, to listen to that one. The one, obviously, with BBD is very, very interesting. And it was, so after that, because I went to listen to that one just after I found out about my diagnosis. And so I went to listen to yours. And there's this other doctor on YouTube that I love to listen to. Also talks about disorders, and specifically, she talks more specifically about narcissism, but she does touch on other disorders as well. She's a psychiatrist. And so I went to listen to her BPD talk show as well. I think it was on Med Health they broadcasted. It was Dr. Ramani. And it was very interesting for me to see the correlation between you guys that did that podcast, and you're not psychiatrists and doctors and stuff, but yet you did your research so well and so good, and it was so relevant to the topic, and the information was so true and correct that all of that showed in that psychiatrist video as well. And the information you guys give are so true and accurate. And it actually it meant a lot for me seeing the two close to each other, to realize that, to realize everything she said, you guys have said, you guys have dealt through it, you guys have worked through it, and you guys actually ended it with there was a last bit at the end of the video that gave even more information, and just from a more understanding BPD as a disorder point of view, where obviously she was on a talk show, so they don't have all those questions, but it was significant to see that you guys have just like that little extra as well, not just the normal information, not just the factual information, but that extra. And the same goes for was the first video that you made on narcissism. And the same goes for that one as well.
Sorry, like it's just like every time someone mentions that, I'm like, my ex doesn't hear it.
No, but the video you made and the information you gave through, a lot of people, and we don't actually realize this, very, very few people understand what is narcissism truly. Very few people understand what is borderline personality disorder or what is bipolar mood disorder. Everyone hears about it, yes. Everyone hears depression and anxiety and PTSD and all those stuff. No one truly understands them, because it's this topic that you don't talk about, because everyone plays victim that has it. And it's...
yeah, that's not true.
Exactly. That's an assumption made by, I don't know, fucking you, but...
It is... I think it's basically based off, there's so many people that say they are suffering from it, but they're not really suffering from it.
They're just having a
So
shitty
they are
day.
actually, no, it's not even having a shitty day. It's people playing victim of something that they don't really have,
No,
and they have no
understand.
knowledge of.
Oh, it comes into the self-diagnosis thing that you guys
Yes.
said.
And that's why we always do that little disclaimer, like, do not self-diagnose. It's very important to understand that. And I think we live in a country that doesn't really understand mental illness to the effect what it should. Because South Africa is not very high on mental illnesses. Like, that's how I
No,
might
but
be
it's-
completely incorrect, but that's how I experience it.
Well,
But
that's the perception that we have. Not even just because we woke up and decided to think that way. If you listen to news, to any kind of fucking parliament bullshit on TV. You know, they're more worried about where is the 50 billion gonna go to. Like, you know, is it gonna go into schooling or what? But I mean, it goes into their back pockets. Don't quote me. But they don't focus on, you know, it's not something that's really mentioned. And like even now with Corona, everyone's so fucking focused on Corona. Like,
Okay, well, there we can't really just judge our government because it's all over the world.
It's all over the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, like everyone, just generally speaking, is so focused on Corona that there was actually a doctor in England, I believe, that that cured a man who had AIDS. And no one fucking knows about that. Because we're so focused on Corona killing another fucking, I don't know, like 1,000 people today. I mean, AIDS is something that's been going on
for how many years?
Yeah, and no one has ever mentioned anything about that. To the severity that that they're talking about COVID and stuff. Look, I do get it's a pandemic and whatnot, but
Can I just say something?
we're getting talking
And
again.
so many people, before we get back to the topic that we actually I do apologize.
We're terrible. We're fucking rubbish.
And so many people are going to hate me for this, but I don't really care. The thing is, we go all out because of this COVID thing. And we're like, yeah, this is the worst thing that's ever happened and what. But I'm sorry, but the Spanish flu, the Black Plague, all of those were massive in comparison to what we're experiencing right now. And what we have, what they didn't have, is the medical advantages and the technology, and they didn't have it back then. So I'm sorry, but almost billions of people died back then, and now we're not even. I don't know what statistics are right now, but I don't know if we even reached 1 million in death. I'm not sure.
For COVID.
Yes,
Probably
I'm
not
not
in
sure.
South Africa, you know.
No, but I'm talking worldwide.
Worldwide, yes.
I don't know. So, and I mean, I don't even know if the statistics. Oh my gosh, why
Statistics.
can't I say this
That
tonight?
word.
That word, yes. I don't even know
Stats.
how
Just say stats.
correct it is, because I mean, if you look, not just in South Africa, but in third world countries, they don't have. Not everyone has the
Testing capacities.
thank you to go and get tested, and it's not documented as it's supposed to be documented. So I'm sorry, but call me whatever you want, but I don't really believe the whole stats that's behind this whole COVID thing.
Well, I think if we go into the whole COVID conversation, we can carry on for another 2 hours.
Yeah, so let's not, because
Can I just say one thing? Because I'm sorry, I've just got this image in my head of a guy standing there with like a clicker, and someone in the hospital is like, you got another one. Okay, click. Do they all get together at the end of the day and go, listen, buddy, okay, I've had like 5 in my hospital, and then like send it through to the UN. Let's go.
wow.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
That's only you.
Say that.
Okay,
How
but
was your
back
day?
to-
Slow. I've only had 10. What about you? 105.
Let's
Yeah,
forget
I'm
about the clicker.
Yeah, let's get back to reality. So just another question. How does this affect you living with your disorders in your professional life, work-wise?
My work situation is a very unique situation. As it's a family business, so I get a lot of support from there. But in general, asking how it's affecting me going forward, or how it has affected me.
How it has affected you and going forward?
It has affected me at times really bad. I was at a previous work where I had to, I think it was in the middle of the year, I had to be institutionalized. I had a very bad suicidal moment. It wasn't yet to the extent of an attempt. It was just before an attempt. I just, at some stage, I was planning it vigorously, and I realized I really need help. Just saying that anyone who listens, if you are planning it, if you want to do it, please go get help. There are people out there who listens. There are people out there who helps. I think you guys said it on one of your previous podcasts as well. There's suicide helplines. Call them. They are there to help. If you don't have the guts to call them, just call someone. Just talk to someone. It's not worth it. So anyway, so I had bad suicidal thoughts, and I did talk to someone. And I spoke to my psychiatrist, and she recommended that I be institutionalized. And I had to ask my work for permission. And at that moment, I was up in front with them. I was lucky enough to have a work where they took that into consideration, and where they treated me without any without any
Basically, yeah, they still treated you as an equal and not someone
Exactly.
with some sort of defect.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that meant the world to me. And I found my manager, and I talked to my manager, and she talked to the senior partner and everything, and they approved it, and I could have gone. So by then they knew about my bipolar, and as well seeing the psychiatrist once a month or once every 2 months at that stage, I had to get time off from work. So with them having full disclosure about my disorder and knowing it about it as well, I could directly ask them, listen, I want to just go for this and this hour to the doctor quickly for this and this hour. And I could have arranged with them to maybe come in before work earlier, so that I can work those hours in. And they made that arrangement for me. So I was very blessed and very lucky to have that. It was, I think, a year later, I had to be institutionalized again, and where they actually went as far as they paid for it.
Jeez.
Yes, because my medical aid was depleted, and I had it was either go to that facility that I was before, which is not a government facility, or go to a government facility. And at that stage, I was really, really blessed with a really good work, where they told me no, they want me to go to the best facility I can go, and they'll back me on that. And I was really, really lucky for that. And yes, they just, I can't actually say how much it meant to me, but that all happened because I asked for help, and because the people there knew and they cared. And I think one of my colleagues saw me crying, and she asked me why, and I decided to be up in front about it, because you get to a point where you're tired of lying, tired of trying to find excuses to tell everyone you've been crying the whole day because you're planning your suicide the next day. And so I just told her, listen, I just don't want to go on. And she talked to the manager, and they helped me. It was in that instance, I think I went that hour. They even dropped me off. I think someone else took my car home or something. That's how rapidly they worked. And so I think I've been very lucky when it comes to work environments. I think for other people it can be very much, a lot more difficult and
Sorry guys,
interfering.
if you hear something dodge, it's Betty drinking water. Like, she's just woken up. Yeah, sorry. Please continue.
And that wouldn't have bugged me until it bugged Corinne.
Yeah, it's just
We
because
just saw
I
her
know
face.
we're recording, and I'm like, oh my goodness, why now? So I'm gonna move your bowl next time we record.
Just to be safe.
But to just finish off that question quickly. So going forward, I know I have to make certain plans and arrangements, and not create certain expectations from myself as well. But going forward, just know that this is what I can give, this is how much I can give, and I should know my own limits.
Yes.
And work according to that. Do my hours as I should every day. If it gets too tough, I either push through or I talk to someone. And I've put in those barriers for myself to know that if in certain times, and even during day or after day, during work or after work, when things get bad, I call someone. I talk to them, I work through it, and then I can carry on working. It doesn't help if I keep spinning it in my head over and over and over again.
Yes.
I was actually just about to ask, like, when you obviously you're gonna go through manic and depression stages, like, you know, how do you deal with them? But like as you mentioned, you pick up a phone and you phone someone, you talk to them about it.
Well, manic and depression phases. So that's where I think it was your guys' podcast would explain it very good. With the manic and depression is with bipolar, but with BPD, and I don't know if your guys' podcast or the other one. Oh no, it was the other one. So they explained it that with bipolar manic, it's like it goes for between a week to months. Because a manic can carry on, as well as a depression phase. It can carry for days, for weeks, for months. It can carry on. Where with BPD people, you get your manic and your depression in a day, very rapidly, and you can go from manic to
Excuse me.
to depressive in an hour. You can shift in that hour about 4 or 5 times, where your mood goes up and down, up and down. And so with me, I don't really, with my manic, I just go buy stuff. I'm just really happy.
You're
and
a splurger.
Yes, I want to buy the world everything. And I want to buy myself everything. I want this and I want that. And I just want to
It's normally when you bring
money.
me takeaways.
Exactly. And but in my depression phase,
Fuck. Anyway.
in my depressive phase, it's I go completely down and I completely pull away from people and I don't talk to people at all. And I just don't want to have anything to do with anyone. And sorry.
You get sidetracked.
I get days like that as well
Yes.
when I deal with stupid people. sorry, my bad. But on a bit more serious line now. What advice will you give someone that is newly diagnosed with either or?
It's not a death sentence, even though you may feel it is. And you will feel it is. It's not. It's treatable, it's manageable, it's helpable. And with BPD, I'm now starting to realize, and I'm gonna go through treatment now, and with a psychologist and work through it. You guys also said DBT is a therapy that works really great for BPD. They found it works great for people with post-traumatic stress as well. And I have been taught some of the theories of some of the therapies from a psychologist a while ago. It really, really does work. It's the first thing that I've felt actually can ground me when my mind starts to ramble and go completely crazy. And so there is stuff that helps. With bipolar, if you get to the right meds, if you get to the right psychiatrist, it does help. I've been seeing my psychiatrist now for 3 years, and for the first year, she has put me on a few different meds. We tried a few different things. It was every few months we tried something else. If this didn't work, we tried something else. If this didn't work, we tried something else. And I was beyond the point of hurtful.
Being over it.
Yes. Just being over it. And I was beyond that point. And things really got worse before it got better. Like they say, change is painful. And it is a change at the end of the day. But today I'm on meds that really work. They really regulate my mood a lot better than any of the meds beforehand. The side effects is completely zero, whereas with a lot of other meds, they had side effects like getting me tired or doing this or doing this. But at some point, my psychiatrist even asked me, listen, don't you want to see another psychiatrist? I'm like, no, I want you. Because she was feeling that she was starting to be inadequate. And I told her I'm going to stick with her because we've gone this far. And she's gotten me through it. And if you trust your psychiatrist, trust their opinion. That's the main thing. But there is help. It's not a death sentence. And it gets better.
I think something that I've also kind of wondered, and I think we did mention it in our podcast regarding BPD, as that it's harder to diagnose in women because, you know, if a woman is in a shitty mood, people are going to go, oh no bro, it's like hormones or PMS or some shit. With men, it's like, okay, this person, you know, has been in this particular mood for, I don't know, longer than they are used to. And it's like, okay, let's get them tested. And with women, it's not like that. So did you find that kind of frustrating? And did you also kind of blame your own hormones for sometimes feeling the way that you did?
A lot. Being a woman, you're used to PMS. So I always used to think that once I feel it and someone comments on it, I would just say, no, it's just my PMS. I'm just close to that time of the month. And actually, after the diagnosis, I told someone I asked them, do you remember every time I told you, no, it was just PMS, it was just PMS. And then that PMS happens in an hour where I get from angry to crying to completely happy, where they would stare at me like, what's going on? I'm like, no, it's just PMS. And I would carry on. And suddenly that makes sense. I've never seen my type of PMS in another woman, if that makes sense. And that maybe should have explained things to me, but it's amazing how your mind can play tricks on you, saying, no, you're normal, you're normal, you're normal. And eventually you're like, okay, maybe I'm not.
Just a quick disclaimer. Your host got it a bit mixed up. It's actually more difficult to get it diagnosed in men because men are tended to not go and ask for help. So women are easier to diagnose because men wait until it's so bad that they don't actually know exactly what it is. Because as you said, your psychiatrists struggle to get you on the right meds. And sometimes because there's so many mental illnesses out there, they can't pinpoint it immediately. And men are, you know, most
stubborn.
men are, no, it's not just because they're stubborn. Most men, and it's actually sad, are raised with the motto, men are strong, men don't cry.
Yeah.
So when a man feels his mental illness is basically breaking, it touches his ego a bit.
It's embarrassing.
So he'll rather just keep quiet and suffer in silence, which is, for me,
sad.
It's not sad, it's heartbreaking. It's a big difference because no one deserves to go through that alone, in my opinion. And there we are doom and gloomy.
She's just got like,
sorry.
It's a bit of a hectic topic, but we just went
It is a deep topic.
pitch black, guys. Like, we just went really dark on this. Like,
No, it's actually funny you mentioning that because I think in a lot of ways my brother has it as well. Because my mom has it. And she has bipolar and also BPD. And when she was diagnosed, it was just, never mind, I'm not going to go into that. But with my brother, I can see a lot of the symptoms, the same stuff in him as in me, and the same ways he acts and how he acts. And he will never go to a doctor, he will never go to a psychiatrist, and he will never admit that is his problem. He's just like, his solution is fighting. And he said it the other day. He's a kickboxer, so boxing gloves, punching bag, that works for him. But I don't think that fixes everything at the end of the day.
yeah, I was about to say it might work in that moment, but to what extent?
I honestly don't think it's healthy.
Don't either. but there's not a lot I can do to change his mind.
Mm.
That is true.
Well, gosh, like I think this is probably the first time where we are kind of at a loss for words, Karina and myself. It's hectic to actually speak to someone who lives with it, and just to kind of get their perspective, you know, get like that first-hand perspective from someone. So, you nearly mentioned your real name, so Elizabeth. Thank you for sitting here and actually talking to us, taking the time to talk to us about this, and I don't know, shed some light on this particularly dark topic, if I may call it that.
And thank you
Yeah.
for sharing everything with us.
A lot of
I
respect.
know for a fact it's not easy. One of my exes was the same. So I know exactly what you're going through from the support side. So I just hope your girlfriend's got a good lot of balls on her, because it can get tough sometimes.
So far, she does.
Not to be mean, but it can get tough sometimes.
It can.
Because we always tend to think only of the person with the disorder, but then we forget about their support system. And it's important for them to also know to go and seek help when help is needed, or just an outlet, someone to talk to, someone to vent to. You know, it's important.
You know, funny enough, you saying that the support system is very important and all that. For a long time, I've been feeling very guilty about my support system and having a support system, and feeling guilty for, in brackets, burdening people with my disorder, with my depression. And why can't I just be like everyone else and see things like everyone else, just be fine? And I've grown to learn to love my support system for what they are, and that they choose to be there on their own terms and their own merit. If they
Fucking better. Just saying. Jeez, like, no offense, but on like a light and real note, they are the fucking gold of this earth.
They are.
Because it's not easy. You need to have hair on your fucking teeth. It's easier to raise a baby. I'm serious. It's fucking easier.
the fact
No
that I want to
offense.
make the fact that I want to make is I've at times I'll feel so guilty, and I feel I burden my girlfriend with that, and that it's not fair towards her being with a person like me, because as you said, it takes balls.
Yeah, but just
But
a
at the
quick
end of the day-
disclaimer.
At the end of the day, I do realize that I'm lucky to have that, and I do deserve that as well. And I just want to say that, especially if there's anyone else that feels that way, that everyone deserves someone to be there for them.
Yes. And just a quick disclaimer before we end, because I think we're running out of time. Communication is key.
Very true.
And the best communication is usually phone calls or face to face. And say things over a WhatsApp message or an email or whatever, because translation is a thing.
Yeah, like misunderstandings
Words,
happen
yes.
instantly.
People read things differently sometimes.
Very
And
true.
then a whole fight happens where it could have been avoided by phoning that person instead of messaging them.
Thanks for having me. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
I answered
Anytime.
correctly.
Next time we'll discuss something else. I don't know. Something less doom and gloomy. Like, I don't know.
Things my
Dogs.
dog bark at.
Oh, wow. Can we rather make a list they don't bark at?
That can be
Meaning
longer.
you guys' dogs, because mine behaves.
I don't know. I like the only excuse I have for mine is she's a puppy. She's 3 months old, almost 3 months old. So she's still learning.
Mine
to
is still
not-
my puppy in my mind.
In your mind, yes. But okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you once again for being here.
Thanks.
To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in faithfully every time, listening to us ranting on about shit and giving you guys some helpful info. And to our subscribers, thank you so much. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Reach out to us via email, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You guys know the drill. I'll once again in this episode put all our links in the description below where you can find us and get in contact with us. Like in every episode we say this again. If there's anything you guys want us to discuss or do some research on for you and then discuss it, please email us, drop us go into our DMs, like surf there, pop
We
us a
actually
message.
do respond. We really
And
do.
if you guys feel like you need help or discussing anything, our email is there. I am one of those people, I will actually go that extra mile to go and actually sit down and talk to you. So if you guys feel you just need a random anonymous person to talk to, feel free to email us. We will try and help in every way possible.
Like to everyone like following us on Facebook and stuff. Look, we
You
still
guys
have
all deserve the golden star.
like all 200 and something of you. Like,
I am not Oprah Winfrey. I'm not going to give you a car.
No, guys, we're poor. Yeah, I mean, like our Facebook page, like the followings and stuff, it's growing
And if
slowly, but I mean,
and,
it's growing,
yeah.
which is awesome. And like, thank you for all of your support. And
Like if you guys like the video, there's a like button down below and a
This is
subscribe
amazing.
button. Put on the little notification bell.
yeah, like
Tune
Tune
do
in,
the
man.
things. But yeah, that is it from us here from our dining room table because we moved inside because of the doggies barking.
And yeah, like fuck man, I was gonna say something about Facebook again. Oh my gosh, I was gonna talk crap most probably.
Yes,
But
most probably.
yeah, like us, like us, love us, whatever you want to do. Just get in touch with us.
Like
and,
our hair, hate our faces, we don't care.
and not like you know what our faces look like, but it's the thought that counts. But yeah, we'll definitely be back this coming week with some more stuff
Yes.
of a random nature because we still don't know what we're going to talk about.
Since you're a guest on our show, do you have any preferences on the next episode that you would like to listen to?
That's very quick notice. I could have
Since
thought
the
for an whole hour
host
about this.
is the one doing the next segment.
Yay, no pressure.
Did something on Christmas.
Oh, no, something on Christmas.
Come on, it is festive season. You have to do something festive.
I'll play Christmas carols for an hour.
Oh,
Done.
hell no. No. But we will think of something, don't worry.
Something. I'm probably going to go into like the pagan side of it or some shit like that. I don't know, I'll turn it into something supernatural most probably. But anyway, yeah, so from us here at the dining room table, chat to you soon. Okay, bye.
I was not ready. Wait.
Okay, we're going to do this again.
Okay.
1, 2, 7, go.
Okay, let's just do this normal, okay? And
Bye.